Good morning. Greetings from St. John's Valley here at St. John's River. This week in our readings given to us on this Good Shepherd Sunday, if you will, God speaks of His mercy and His love for us, and that His willingness to give it to us if we but choose to follow and accept His will that He calls us to follow. In our first reading from the book of Exodus, the Lord reminds Moses how He had delivered the Israelites from the bondage of slavery to the Egyptians. The Lord reminds Moses that if the people listen to His voice and follow His commandments, they will be a nation dearer to the Lord than any other nation. In this reading, the Lord is inviting the Israelites, as well as ourselves, to choose our destiny with Christ. This is something that we alone can choose to accept if we accept God, His will for us, and the commandments He has instructed us to obey. The Israelites are made a chosen people by God, not because of their strengths and privilege, but God calls them and chooses them as His own because of their weakness and their suffering. This should be a reminder for ourselves that God calls us in our own brokenness and our own weakness to follow His call, to become a beloved son or daughter of Him. In our second reading, which comes from the book of Romans, St. Paul reminds us that no matter what we are faced with in our own lives, we can trust in the loving providence of God. He has justified us by His passion, death, and resurrection, the paschal mystery of His begotten Son, Jesus. We tend to experience in our own lives great trials, tribulations, and feelings of despair. But if we truly believe in our faith and what we profess each day, each time we come to Mass, even in the midst of those trials and tribulations, we can see that the Lord provides, even through the current pain and struggles we are facing. If we could be but faithful to the Lord, how can He not be faithful to us? Lastly, in our gospel passage today, Jesus uses two analogies to describe the vast crowd that is gathering and searching for some purpose and meaning. The two analogies that He uses are the sheep without a shepherd and an abundant harvest with so few laborers to gather that harvest. Jesus feels for this crowd and in turn does something for them. How does He do this? He sends forth laborers and shepherds to the lost flocks of Israel through the 12 disciples. These 12, for us, are the first priests and bishops appointed to lead the church. This appointment of the 12 is meant to remind us, through our own baptism, of our own priesthood, our baptismal priesthood, to be missionaries and to evangelize a broken world which is in so need of the love of Jesus Christ. Working in conjunction with the ministerial presbyterate and episcopacy to do so. By virtue of their ministerial office, the clergy are meant by their own actions to show our increased responsibility to fulfill our roles as missionaries to this broken world. We can see in our own diocesan community the dire need for more laborers to enter into the harvest of the people of Maine. The need for good, holy, and virtuous men to answer the call to be laborers in the field that God is calling them to be as priests in this diocese. May it be our prayer this weekend that we pray for those who are discerning the call to priesthood to respond with open arms and with the love of Jesus Christ. Please know of my prayers for you this week, and may God bless you.